Okay, students, so we just went over on the previous video segment on, and you can look it up on School, but how we created a production possibility frontier curve. We used the availability of our resources of 1 bag of sugar, 40 cups of sugar per bag, recipes of 1 cup of sugar per batch, and we established that we could make a various different production possibilities of sugar cookies and oatmeal cookies. And what we said is that whether it's this point here or point A where it's 30 batches of sugar cookies and 10 batches of oatmeal, or whether it was point B, 20 batches of sugar cookies and 20 batches of oatmeal, what we established was that any point on the curve, point A, B, or C, represents full efficient production, that we fully employed all of our resources. And we lived up to our potential. We were given a certain amount of potential to produce a certain amount of cookies, and if we made 40 batches of cookies, which A, B, and C did, we did live up to our potential. Now, sometimes economies don't always live up to their potential, and in this example, we're not either. You can have a situation where you have what we call inefficient production. I'd like to point you in the direction of point D, and according to our resources, we have the production possibilities or the potential to make 40 batches of cookies. Now, if at the end of the night the only thing we accomplished was combination D, which as you can see is 10 batches of sugar cookies and 10 batches of oatmeal cookies, something must have happened. We did not live up to our potential. We did not make 40 batches of cookies, which is what our resources allowed us to make. Something happened. The example I used in class is that maybe while we were making cookies, we accidentally spilt the sugar and the sugar fell on the floor, and we had to sweep up the sugar and throw it in the trash. And so we only could make 20 batches of cookies because that's all the sugar we had left. If that's a situation, that would be what we call a point inside the curve. And a point inside the curve is stating inefficient production. Inefficient means you are not living up to your potential. Your possibilities were 40 batches. We only made 20 batches. That's inefficient. Another way to look at that would be you wasted resources. Or the more economic term is you have unemployed resources. And the last thing I would add is you did not live up to your potential. Now, we've seen this example before, moving away from cookies, but anytime the United States has a lot of unemployment, anytime the United States, for example, during the Great Depression where you had a lot of people that should have been working, not working, standing in soup lines, that's the same thing as spilling the sugar. You had resources. Those people were willing to work. Those factory buildings still existed. But during the Great Depression, you had empty factories. You had people standing around not working. And so what that was you were wasting resources. That's labor that should have been productive in the production of things for the United States, and it was not. Our empty factories, those factories should have been used in the production of goods and services. Instead, they're being wasted. So a historical example of being an economy being at a point inside the curve would be the Great Depression, and certainly that is not something we would want.